Board of Commissioners for February 16th, 2022. Mike, could you take the roll, please? Commissioner Vyers?
Here.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Here.
Commissioner Morrow?
Here.
Commissioner Mee?
Here.
Commissioner Kelly?
Here.
Commissioner Barrett?
Here.
President Fry? Here. Presentations. Dan, we'll start you off.
Thank you, Board President. At your places, you'll see our detailed annual report, and I know this is it's an annual visit. We're still in sort of an odd time range for me. I've been with the organization for 8 months. This report ended April 30th, 2021, so bad news, good news. I can't take any credit for anything you might see in there, but I also can't take any blame. So what I'm going to do is just walk you through a few highlights of my first 8 months and paint a picture of kind of where we're hoping to go. All right, first click. So this first slide, I've got first 6 months. Like I said, I'm 8 months into this now. Really just reporting to Mike and my board of directors the competencies that I need to build as an executive director to provide our organization with the high level of leadership that it's really always had. Won't go bullet by bullet, but 30, 60, 90-day goals were in there, attending all the various state and local conferences and legislative symposiums, providing stewardship to our foundation, which we have. We're very fortunate to have an excellent foundation that is very active in its fundraising and support of the association, and really just trying to get into the day-to-day culture of the staff and building activities and rapport that as they transitioned back to the office last May, and I started in June, we all kind of had to get to know each other. And, some of them had to get to know each other again, but obviously I'm getting to know them, they're getting to know me. So building expectations and just building that staff camaraderie. And then most significantly, I would say the last bullet, in October, we realigned our org chart. We had some departures. We've had a lot of staff at WD for 15 years or more, so really saw some opportunities to provide some growth. We promoted 2 people internally, and then we created some positions that were actually really wall-to-wall interviews right now. So the next 3 or 4 months are going to be a continued period of a lot of change at WD. So just a few highlights on our partnership with Wheaton. It goes much deeper than this, but just to show the appreciation and the awareness of the things that I already know that we do. We opened our 6th Rec and Roll site here in 2018. All of our regular programming and social club, we make a lot of use of your various amenities. The Play for All, I just became a Play for All Foundation board member recently, so looking forward to contributing on that front. We partner with the Sensory Garden Play Days this past summer, and I attended those. The annual Chuck Long Classic Golf Outing, there's a picture there from this past June. That was day 5 on the job, so that was, as a golfer, I was all good with that. 3 Wheaton residents are very active on our foundation board, and Mark Barnick, Kevin Beck, and Ken Munzing, and I know, I think Mark and Kevin do quite a bit in Wheaton athletics too, whether it's coaching or being in the various leagues. And again, going back to Jane Hodgkinson, I know we've always had very tight ties with Wheaton. And then we do disability awareness education for either your staff or any partners or businesses that might approach you and want some awareness or some training in that area. We're always happy to provide that. So this is the last report card in our annual report. When you look at numbers and what we're doing and how we're grading out, these numbers are not indicative of what we can do at full tilt. These were suppressed during the pandemic year, and when I look at, okay, what do we want to do at a base level? We want to serve more people. We want to grow these numbers. That's easy. But the mantra that I'm preaching to staff in terms of what I want to see are the 3 A's there, the access, the activities, and the awareness. When you talk about access, I'm sure it's similar to a lot of the things that you and your staff talk about. How can we build our scholarship program and provide access to the underserved? How do we reduce our waiting list? Our programs are in very high demand. Our sector continues to see more either diagnosis or awareness of people with disabilities of all types, not just the classic, maybe Down syndrome or a physical disability. So that pool continues to grow, and we need to serve them. And then looking at new sites, we are bringing on a new Rec and Roll site in Winfield this year, so we want to continue to look at either those traditional arrangements or even some things out there in the private sector where we might share some space and be able to start a new program, whether that's early childhood or an area that maybe we traditionally haven't been that strong in. Activities, just like your rec team, we're always looking at, if stand-up paddleboarding or pickleball or something's becoming popular, are we providing that outlet or that avenue within WD to adapt that experience and make it fun and inclusive for our population? As well as just being aware of what's trending, just don't do the same thing all the time, and being sensitive to the pricing and making sure that we can sustain our revenue without having to come back to our member districts for additional funding. Then awareness. I'm a marketing and communications professional by trade, so I want to see WD out there and visible, but really with the gatekeepers of people that can drive families or individuals to us. So whether that's special education teachers, department chairs, superintendents, that when they do an IEP and they know that a family is getting some accommodations in the school environment, they think, hey, we've got to get this family over to WD as well. So we are, in our realignment, we're ramping up that function within the agency, and I expect to see some tangible outcomes in that area. I won't go into too much detail here, but I will mention this is a participant story that's featured in your book, and it's related to virtual programming. And I know a lot of park districts are sort of, they're offboarding their virtual programs. In the special rec sector, we're not so eager to do that. We want to offer the live programs, but for a number of reasons, whether it's still being down in staff or the feedback that we've heard from our parents and families that it provides more access. They don't have to worry about transportation. It's either low cost or no cost. And this population, which was so affected by the pandemic, they're cut off from their friends and their communities. A lot of them are immunocompromised. So it was a great outlet for them to be able to still get on a screen, see their friends, and whether it was virtual bingo or karaoke or Zumba or Taekwondo, to them, they were doing their thing. Like, okay, this is filling a need in my world. So while this provided a nice revenue stream during the pandemic, I think we did $60,000 in virtual programming. We won't be at that level, but will we be at 20 or 30,000 for the foreseeable future? We could be. So we're still trying to figure that out. But again, a lot of parents who are skeptical, like, if Abby's not in that gymnastics room or that dance room, she's not gonna like it. And then they gave it a try, and we got really good feedback. So that was great to see. And then some numbers and charts that are too small to read up there, but again, you have the booklet just in terms of numbers and who we serve. Wheaton is easily number 2 in terms of registrations per year. But these numbers are not indicative, as you can see towards the right. It really falls off because of the conditions that we had to deal with. And where do we want to go? How do we want to grow? How are we going to get back to normal or better? Really reliant on, and this slide's getting a little dated, but staffing continues to be a concern. Space, being creative about how we work with you all to find these spaces within our partner districts, but also maybe non-traditional agreements. And then safety, which hopefully that's the factor that's subsiding a little bit, but with the protocols that our staff see on a daily basis, whether it's wheelchair or feeding tubes or hand-over-hand contact, we have to be mindful that we're providing the safest possible environment for our staff as well as the participant. And that's something that, again, we're always trying to engage our families and see what's their comfort level, how can we do this in a way that makes sense without infringing on rights and being respectful, as well as for our staff. So that's an ongoing, evolving area. And with that said, I'd be happy to take any questions or talk about anything related to WD.
Anyone? Terry?
Hey, yeah, Dan, thanks. It was interesting to see the breakdown, the registrations and the inclusion programs, by community. A little surprising to me, but obviously it's not necessarily based on size.
Right. Where you do rank number 2 in terms of, total registrations, your inclusion requests are more in line with some of our smaller districts. But again, I don't know that these numbers are really indicative of the traditional chart that you might see up there. So
No, it's just interesting to see the breakdown.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Anyone else?
Yep.
Linda?
When my kids were in elementary school, I was in charge of cultural arts. and we had brought in, at the time, we were calling it WSDRA, and we brought them into the school. Is that something, and I know the last couple of years have been not normal, but is that something that's still done, where they come into the school so the kids can go through the process and?
Yes, absolutely. We've done, we do clinics, we do like PE takeover days where we'll go in and show third graders what it's like to be on a basketball court in a wheelchair, or do a cultural arts presentation with awareness of maybe, a hearing disability or a visual disability. Absolutely, we want to get back to that. Our summer camps are in schools too, and we're getting back to that this summer, so I would anticipate that we'll see more and more of that as we return to normal.
It's a great program.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Dan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Glad you came tonight, Dan.
We have a second presentation tonight from Andrew Payne, our legal counsel. He's here to explain to the audience here and the people at home how the TRO with the recent masks mandate affects the Park District.
Thank you for the introduction. So obviously, there's been a tremendous amount of information flying around related to the TRO, certainly a controversial issue for people on both sides. I'll start with my personal opinion. As a member of the legal bar, I was very disappointed with the judge in how this was handled, not on the law or the issues, but just in the timing and the way that the order was written. And again, this is my personal opinion, but I think it was done in a way that was designed to create chaos. And I think she succeeded in doing that, which is a shame, because it dropped this major change without a lot of clarification on everybody across the state. So people were unsure what to do in schools, administrators were unsure what to do, parents were unsure what to do, kids were unsure what to do. And then there was a ripple effect to park districts and their programming. And I wish it would have been handled in a different way that would have allowed more of a smooth process, more clarity to the process. But unfortunately, it is what it is, and we are left to react. And so when the dust settles and you parse through a lot of the misinformation, the simplest way to boil this down is that the Park District and the school district are separate legal entities, as we all know. The TRO focused specifically on a handful of executive orders, emergency rules, and administrative rules that are focused exclusively on school districts and their operations. Part of the confusion was caused by some of the language in the TRO and the footnote, which I can get into. Some of it was also a little bit confusing because a couple of the executive orders overlapped. What I mean by that is the mask mandate for kids in schools comes out of Executive Order 2021-2018. The mask mandate that we are required to comply with was initially Executive Order 2021-2020. A week later, that was superseded by 2021-2022, which continues to be renewed every 30 days. The problem with when they reissued it, they combined it with the mandate that also required vaccinations in the schools for teachers or testing, which created kind of the impetus for this lawsuit. So to be very clear, well, I guess first of all, the Park District is not a party to this lawsuit. Even the footnote that references non-named plaintiffs and non-named school districts, by definition, a non-named plaintiff, if you came in on that side of the V, you would be someone opposing the mandate, not implementing the mandate. So if the Park District, who has a mandate in place because of state law, came into the lawsuit, they'd be on the defendant's side, not the non-named plaintiff side. And obviously, you're not a school district, you're a Park District. Sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle because you guys run programs, preschool programs, after-school programs. Used loosely, yes. Are you teaching? Are there students? Sure, but you're not a school district in a legal sense. So you're not a party to the lawsuit. You're not bound by it. The court even acknowledged that there was a couple school districts in the suit that weren't properly named. They didn't have jurisdiction, so they weren't bound by the order. So on its face, anything in that order is not binding on the Park District because you are not a party to the lawsuit. Equally as important is, regardless of what happens, I think the appellate court is expected to rule any day now, regardless of what they do, whether they uphold it, stay it, reverse it. When the entire litigation comes to a conclusion, whatever it happens to be, it's only focused on the emergency rules and the school district issues related to the masking and the vaccination and the testing. It has nothing to do with the indoor mask mandate that applies to general public places. So nothing in this litigation is going to affect what's happening to you. What is going to impact your operations potentially is, as we know, I lose track, there's been a lot going on. I think it was earlier this week, the governor announced that he's going to be lifting most of the indoor mask requirements at the end of the month. There was a caveat to that it's going to remain, and again, things could change, but it's going to remain in schools, and it's also going to remain for daycare facilities that are licensed by DCFS. We don't know what's going to happen with Park District programs. Obviously, after-school programs run by Park Districts are similar to the school setting. They are similar to child care licensed DCFS programs. Your programs are typically shorter, but again, it's similar, so we don't know. Probably many people are hopeful that the order will be lifted at the end of the month. It might be modified, there might be other requirements, but the long and short of it is we have to wait and see what the governor does. We have to read the executive order, we have to see what changes, and we go from there. But my advice as your lawyer, looking out for the agency, is always to, and whether we like the rules or not, my advice is always going to be, we need to comply with existing laws until such time as they are modified, amended, removed, or stayed by the court. And right now, there's an executive order in effect that says you have to wear masks if you're over 2 years old, and you can medically tolerate it. And so for people who have issues, medically related issues, there's a process to follow to figure out if there's ways to accommodate you. But aside from that, we got to require the masks, and it doesn't matter what we like or don't like. And I wouldn't be able to stand up here as your lawyer and do my job and tell you to disregard a valid order. If the governor changes it tomorrow, well, then that could be a different story. But until that happens, unfortunately, the mandate's in place, and we have to follow it. And you're going to continue to take blowback from the community because, it's a contentious issue. I get that. But unfortunately, that's where things stand, in my opinion. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions you have. If you want me to go into more detail, it's up to you. But please feel free to ask if you have any questions.
Any comments, questions?
I got one comment. Andrew, thank you for taking your time because I know it's a distraction. But how often have you seen in a judicial ruling any statement or footnote or otherwise that pertains to non-named plaintiffs, defendants, parties, and so forth?
Well, so I guess two comments generally about that order. As we know, the idea of a temporary restraining order is an extreme remedy, but the idea is to maintain the status quo, to give you time to adjudicate the matter on the merits, to get to the legal issues. So kind of press pause, wait, litigate, find the outcome. The mandates have been in place for quite some time, so I'm not sure how lifting them on 48 hours notice is maintaining the status quo. That's a separate issue. But the two strangest things about that order to me is, number one, the first part of the judge's order actually it invalidated two state statutes and administrative rules, which you can't do that in the TRO typically. I mean, that's what the whole lawsuit is about, and she determined in the TRO the final outcome of the case, which is, to me, very bizarre for a TRO. And then second, while acknowledging that there was an actual party in the case who was improperly named, the court didn't have jurisdiction, and therefore that person could not be bound by the order, to then go on in a footnote, nonetheless, to then say this order potentially, she wrote it in kind of a strange way, but this could potentially apply to non-named plaintiffs and non-named school districts, seems to be activism from the bench, if you want my honest opinion. I haven't seen that before in the TRO. I haven't seen that in many orders. And, to acknowledge in the body that jurisdiction is important and you can't bind parties that you don't have jurisdiction over, and then to add a throw-in line that then was used to create chaos across the state, to me was strange, to say the least.
No, you answered my question. I just wondered if you'd ever seen something like that before. So
No, I'm
apparently you haven't.
sorry to go on, but no,
No,
I
no,
haven't.
that's all right.
It's very bizarre in my opinion. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Ray?
Unless I'm missing something, did not the governor do away with the mask ban effective February 28th? And effective 28th, we no longer have to require masks in our buildings?
So he indicated that on the 28th, he's going to lift the majority of the indoor mask mandates, but he is going to keep them for a few areas. The two that he specifically called out were schools, but obviously a lot could change, and is changing since he made that statement. And then the second place was daycare facilities that are licensed by DCFS. So the vast majority of the indoor mandate will be lifted, but there will be some places where it will still apply. If there's other exceptions that weren't specifically referenced in his press conference and the statement, we'll just have to wait and see.
So we, as a park district, can make masks optional?
It
in our
depends, it will, again, the devil's in the details. It will depend what the order says on the 28th, or if there's any, perhaps there's going to be some advance notice so people can prepare. But we're going to have to wait to see what the exact order
So
says
he's not going
before.
to tell us until the 28th?
Well, I'd love to be able to tell you, but
Oh, I know.
it seems like these are always dropped at the 11th hour, and then we're left to scramble. But I've stopped trying to predict what's going to happen in these. Too many times, it seems like it's going to be this, and then it's that. So all I can say is it sounds like most places will no longer have an indoor mask requirement, but there's going to be a couple exceptions. What those look like,
Yeah.
what they mean, I don't know.
And I can appreciate that. I sure would like to exercise without a mask, but
I hear you.
Anyone else? Andrew, thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
My pleasure.
Very
Nice to see
informative.
everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay if you want. You and Dan both.
I don't think you'll miss anything if you leave.
Yeah. I don't believe we have community input. Donna, anyone set up? Okay, let's move on. I need a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
I'll go for it.
Okay,
Move to approve the consent agenda, items A through D. Item A, approval of disbursements totaling $503,468.74 for the period beginning January 12, 2022 and ending February 8, 2022. B, approval of the disbursements totaling $412,706.15 for the period beginning January 12, 2022 and ending February 8, 2022. C, approval of the regular meeting minutes for January 19, 2022. And finally, D, approval of the closed session minutes for January 19, 2022.
second.
we have a motion by me, a second by Morrell. Any comments? Mike?
Commissioner Vyers?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. We do not have any unfinished business to discuss. We move on to new business. We need a motion for the approval of the Personal Policy Manual.
Move to approve the amended personnel policy manual for the Park District dated February 2022.
Second.
Motion by me, a second by Vyers. Comments? I just wanted to say that it was very well done.
Was done.
Matt did a great job.
A lot of work.
Thank you. Make sure to pass that on to him.
Mike?
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Vyers?
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. Moving on to number 2, we need a motion for information technology.
I'll move to approve a contract with Peerless Network, formerly Call One, for secondary internet services for the community center at a cost of $654 per month for a 3-year term beginning January 14th, 2022.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Vyers, a second by Pacharich. Any comments? Mike?
Commissioner Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Vyers?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. Moving on to point 3. We need a motion for information technology.
I'll move to approve a contract with Intelliquent for VoIP phone services for 150 users at a cost of $1,886 per month before taxes and fees for a 3-year term beginning May 1st, 2022.
Second.
Motion by Vyers, a second by Barrett. Any comments?
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Vyers?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell?
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. Moving on, point number 4. A motion for the approval of training and performance consulting.
I move to approve an agreement with the Corporate Learning Institute for training and performance consulting services at a cost of $20,000 for fiscal year 2022.
Second.
A motion by Morrell, a second by me. Any comments?
Can we make sure that we get periodic updates of how this is being used and how the money is being spent?
Yes, sir. Mike?
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Vyers?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. Moving on to Memorial Park, with motion for the approval of Memorial Park.
I'll move to approve the sale of beer and wine during special events and concerts held at Memorial Park for fiscal year 2022, including the Cream of Wheaton Summer Concert Series, Brew Fest, and Northwestern Hospital Park Rental.
Second.
Who got the second?
Linda.
Motion by Byers, a second by Pacharich. Any comments? Mike?
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Vyers?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrow?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. Moving on, new business number 6. A motion to approve the community center parking lot reconstruction project.
I move to approve a proposal for services at a cost of $12,900 from White Engineering for a limited topographical and utility survey.
Second.
We have a motion by Pacharich, a second by Vyers. Any comments?
Yeah, the next several, we can probably just do a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Moving on to number 7, we need a motion to approve the equipment purchase for athletic department.
Move to approve the purchase of 8 sets of soccer goals at a cost of $13,625.34 from Anthem Sports LLC.
Second.
Motion by me, a second by Barrett. Any comments? Mike?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Moving on to number 8, a motion to approve the equipment purchase for Parks Department.
Move to approve the purchase of a Striper 7,000 at a cost of $15,867.50
I second.
from Pioneer Athletics.
Sorry.
That was quick. Motion by Morrill, a second by Pacharich. Any comments?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Number 9, another motion for equipment purchase for Parks Department.
Move to approve the purchase of an ABI Force infield groomer with accessories at a cost of $28,548.46 from Tracknology North America.
Second.
Motion by B, a second by Barrett. Any comments?
Back to a roll call vote. Commissioner Vyers?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrow?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. Moving on to number 10, a motion for the equipment purchase for Parks Department and Arrowhead Golf Club.
I move to approve the purchase of a steel grain SG52 chemical sprayer at a cost of $15,860 from Advanced Turf Solutions.
Second.
A motion by Pacharich, a second by Ray. Morrill? Yeah, okay. Any comments?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
New business number 11, a motion to approve native area management services for various parks.
Move to accept the bid for native landscape maintenance service for $93,890 from Bedrock Earthscapes.
Second.
Motion by Vyers, a second by Pacharich. Any comments?
It's a 3-year contract.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrow?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Vyers?
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. Moving on to number 12, we need a motion for the approval of the Rice Pool concession deck seating.
I'd move to reject the bids received on January 21, 2022 for that deck seating.
Second.
Motion by me, a second by Barrett. Comments?
And Mike, the rejection again was based on?
The prices came in far in excess of the budgeted amount of money. This, if you recall, this was a project or a purchase we had deferred in early 2020 when we were suspending expenses related to the pandemic shutdown, and when we've gone back out to bid for pricing, and like everything else, the prices for these products skyrocketed. So we're figuring out a different way to get it done.
Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Moving on to point 14, we need a motion for the approval of the Arrowhead Golf Club Shoreline Stabilization Project West number 4, number 8.
Missed one.
We missed one.
Yeah.
I missed 13?
13, yeah.
Okay, sorry, we'll go back to 13. I need a motion again for the Rice Pool concession deck seating.
Motion to approve the purchase of 30 picnic tables at a cost of $22,580.22 from Barco Products.
Second.
Motion by Barrett, a second by?
Me.
Me? Any comments? Mike?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Now we move on to number 14. Need a motion for the approval of Arrowhead Golf Club Shoreline Stabilization Project West number 4, number 8.
Yeah, I'll move that we accept the bid from V3 Construction Group. That's for the base bid in the amount of $96,415 plus a 10% contingency.
Second.
A motion by Kelly, a second by Vyers. Any comments? Mike?
Commissioner Morrill?
Yes.
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Vyers?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. Moving on to number 15. We need a motion for the approval of the Arrowhead Maintenance Facility Roof Coating System.
Move to accept the base bid and alternate bid for Arrowhead Golf Club Maintenance Facility Roof Rehabilitation Project for $126,425 plus a 10% contingency from Anthony Roofing.
Second.
A motion by Vyers, a second by Kelly. Any comments? Mike?
Commissioner Me?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett?
Yes.
Commissioner Vyers?
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrill?
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. Point 16, we need a motion for the approval of the Central Athletic Complex cleaning services.
I'd move to terminate a contract with Crystal Maintenance Plus Corporation effective March 1, 2022. And comment, Mike, I believe that we're going to do all that in-house, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Second.
Motion by me, a second by Barrett. Any other comments?
Yeah, just that we're not dissatisfied with their service. We're just going to do the work ourselves, and so we don't want to make it look like we're not happy with them.
No, we're happy. We're happy with the service. It's just going to be more efficient for us now that we're more fully staffed up to complete the tasks in-house. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Number 17 of new business, we need a motion for the approval of Cosley Zoo Taylor Barn, Keebler Barn, and Aviary Barn building siding projects.
I move to accept base bid number 1 and number 2 for the Aviary and Keebler Barn projects at Cosley Zoo for $76,300 plus a 10% contingency from Red Feather Group.
Second.
Go ahead.
Motion by Pacharich, a second by Barrett. Any comments?
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Barrett.
Yes.
Commissioner Vyers.
Yes.
Commissioner Pacharich.
Yes.
Commissioner Morrill.
Yes.
Commissioner Me.
Yes.
President Fry.
Yes. Point 18, new business. We need approval or a motion for the City of Wheaton request for temporary and permanent easements along Gary Avenue.
I'll move to approve retaining Day and Robert PC for drafting and review of Gary Avenue right-of-way easements.
Second.
A motion by Vyers, a second by Morrill. Any comments?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Reports from staff?
We have with us this evening Michelle Artis, the manager of Parks Plus Fitness, and you have in your packet our annual report for 2021 for the facility that she so capably manages on our behalf. Michelle's prepared for any questions or comments the board may have regarding her report.
Michelle, thanks for running a great show over there. And, you know, I've been a member of Parks Plus for many years now, but I'll have some other comments when we get to staff reports. But as far as your annual report, thank you for that exec summary. That was a nice capsulized bit of information.
Anyone else? Right.
Yeah, just want to mention the 90% membership retention is fantastic. I think that's great. I actually was surprised to see that, but it was great. I also like the idea of the strength and conditioning program that you did with the Midwest soccer group, working with 100 different athletes over a period of time. I think that's a great idea. Any way we can reach out to our other programs and provide some kind of conditioning and training for them,
Oh, well, now,
I think it's fantastic.
now that we're part of the athletics department, the fitness
Oh,
center, I think that we'll see that in the future.
Football might like it. I don't know.
All sports would.
Very good. Thank you. Good report.
Thank you. Great
you.
report.
Michelle, I have one quick question, if that's.
Yes.
Yeah, go.
So I noticed that personal training was down and that we had a lot of personnel issues there. Have you had success in 2022 in replacing trainers?
We actually hired 2 additional trainers, one in November of 2021 and one just this February.
Great.
And we'll be looking to hire, obviously, additional ones throughout the year.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Terry?
I'll move on to staff reports unless we're still going with this.
Thank you very much, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
Michelle.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the good work. I'll start it off, Bob, and I'll make a couple comments for Commissioner Kelly, but he wants me to move very quickly. But thank you to athletics, Rams football and cheerleading. We're back on track, and so people are coming back to us. I appreciate that. Central Athletic Center with rentals and so forth and usage hours. Looks like we're back in business after a very tough 2020. Volleyball and indoor soccer programs. Looks like we've had some significant increases, so thank you again to athletics. Back to Parks Plus for a minute, Michelle. It looks like, because I work out there and I can see what's happening, people are coming back and our equipment's coming back, so, people are very happy about that. Our visits are up, and just to say that, to let you know that, the people I've talked to are very happy about it. Couple more. I noticed, and maybe Andy, you can answer this. It looks like we've got 10 positions that we're trying to hire for at Cosley. Any particular reason?
No, it's mostly seasonal, so you're talking concessions, you're talking some seasonal maintenance, and we're always looking for volunteers to help with the care of the animals.
I mean, is this pretty standard year to year?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That helps.
The seasonals, they come and go, so.
Okay, cool. Did want to mention that our Bridal Showcase is coming up this Sunday at Arrowhead. I've attended that many times, and thanks to the staff for doing it. It's always enjoyable. To our people who groom our trails and take care of the snow out there at Arrowhead. I've cross country skied out there a couple times. Of course, it's done now for the time being, but when I was out there a couple times, there's a lot of skiers out there. A lot of people enjoying it, and a lot of good compliments from people. Hey, this is great, and some I didn't know it was here, and others I come back every year when we have it. I saw that the dueling pianos event at Arrowhead the other night was sold out. So I know it was sold out. Did we have good attendance? I mean, did people come?
We had over 200 attend the dueling pianos.
Good.
And a lot of dancing.
The Isapalooza, got a chance to be there. It was cold, but Margie, you guys all weathered it. You did well. I mean, it was well attended. And the skaters, I don't know how they did it, but, they were, and I'm not talking about the hockey players, but they did well in that kind of cold weather. But, Dan, thanks, to you and everybody who was there. It was, again, well-attended, and people were having fun, as cold as it was. And we got Cream of Wheaton now, formerly a Taste of Wheaton's, back in business for, that first weekend in June. So, I think everybody's excited about that. And then last but not least, we've got Casino Night coming up in March, and I hope that, it's a good fundraiser, for the museum and so forth. So hopefully we'll get a good turnout. Thanks, staff, for all your hard work.
Ray?
Okay. Just a few. Did the Rams address their concerns? I know you've got your coaches all lined up. Did you address some of the issues of last season with overly competitive coaches?
Absolutely. Adam did some detailed interviews with all the coaches as well as the executive board.
It's been addressed.
Yeah, so Adam was in on all those interviews and appointments of coaches.
And you're showing that currently there are 585 participants in baseball, softball. Does that include travel or not?
Adam, that does not, right? That does not.
Okay, so there's a lot more that are in that program right now. And then we're doing the sign-up still for ice skating. Are the residents complaining about that? I mean, do they show up and get upset that they didn't sign up?
No, we'll take them right at the door there. Again, we have the app there. I think the only reason you might see enrollment a little down is the fact that last year was post-COVID, so everyone was excited and ready to get out. And now we're having indoor basketball, indoor soccer. So there's just other things that these kids can do where skating's not the only game in town over there at the CAC.
And then you show revenue and pending Everbright fees of $6,000, a little over $6,000. Is that $6,000 that we owe Everbright, or is that $6,000 they owe us, or what is that?
No, we collected that. That's the system we use to collect fees. So we made $6,000 in non-resident collections.
And that's just non-residents. We don't charge residents.
Correct.
All right, very good. Parks Plus Fitness, we already saw the report and talked a little bit about it, but, when we're getting closer to the 2,000 members, and I, for one, think that if we have 2,000 members, we're doing pretty darn good. So if we can keep that as our I guess, our minimum or our base, I think we're doing a great job, so keep that up. And then the A conference meet, I assume that's at Northside Park?
We'll actually do that at Rice.
You're going to do it at Rice?
Yeah, we hosted the B conference there, not last year, but the last year of operation, and it went great. And again, larger size, started in the morning, and again, just have a delayed opening, potentially depending on when we wrap up the meet, but we'll communicate that with all the pass holders and well in advance.
Yes,
of
good,
signage.
good. Because they're used to it being at Northside and not being inconvenienced at Rice.
Just that major meet.
And then the attic work at Ratchy Park, what's going to happen up there?
So for several decades, the Prairie Path had
Right.
a room on the second floor. So they've stopped meeting there for several years. So I'm one of the board members on the Prairie Path, been for 20 years now. And I talked with them and said, hey, if we can move the things that you guys need to retain up into the attic space, can we give the members' room back to Park District use? So that's what we're in the process of right now.
So it's going to be a Park District use?
The room downstairs, the Prairie Path will still retain some storage in the attic space up there.
Couple more, please. The daddy-daughter Princess Ball, having 100 people signed up, I think is fantastic.
We're up to 125, we're full now.
Who would have thought, huh? And I think it's great that the staff is thinking ahead for 2022 with the remodeling that may take place at the community center, and where you're going to put all those programs and people while that's going on. So I'm pleased to see that you're thinking ahead. Recreation has 40, the camps have 40 vacancies to fill, and I hope you're advertising at COD and our high schools and trying to encourage local residents to apply. I don't know if that's a lot of people or not. I mean, it's every year it's different, huh? And then, and this, I don't expect a response, but, today, but, the zoo is dealing with the AZA requests for the, substrates at the pig exhibit to get their, approval. I guess, my question is, what are they going to do?
Well, we're submitting a report to AZA about how we're going to address their concern, and then we're going to wait for a report back from AZA on if they're approving of our suggestion of that area.
Because I understand that we do a lot of things that they weren't aware of through the application process. And they were asking us to do things that really, I don't think we can do, short of tearing everything up. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sue has been working with parks. There's a small area that they feel that they can enhance in the pig exhibit. That Sue is submitting that report to AZA, and hopefully they're going to come back and they're going to be okay with that change. And it's just a small of staff time, I believe, of material.
Going to create a mud place?
Yeah, but more of a mulch, I think, a mulch area.
Okay, let
Not
us
so
know,
much
let
on the
us know what,
concrete.
let us know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Landy,
That's all.
let me interject just a minute. It must not, these things must not be big deals since we've already been approved for accreditation, correct?
Yeah, we are approved for accreditation. They're just,
I get it.
they saw something that they want to make sure that we address.
I understand.
Before our next,
Cool,
5 years from now.
Okay.
When it comes back up. They want to make sure we're addressing it between that time.
got it.
Thank you, that's
I'll
all I
Make
have.
sure to update you with their report.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Do you have anything? No, sir, nothing to add.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by me, a second by Barrett. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.